masterclass episode. Once again, a beautiful delivery. It reminds me of the ending of season one. Always a masterclass episode. This feels more conclusion though than season one. Season one said the journey continues as Rudy is wandering off, but this one right here, it felt like it could have ended if it wanted to, but that's not the end, baby. People asking, is there going to be a season 3? Of course, it's going to be a season 3. Now, some are wondering, is it now in development? I believe it could be in development, because when you have a studio, it's not the same people working on the same thing all the time. For instance, when Mushoku Tensei season 2 ends, they're working on another different anime project. And then after that, they're going to release season 3, part 1, like they always do, So I'm getting this is going to be the pattern from now on. They released the first part of the season of Mushoku Tensei. They skip a season, then here we go into that part 2. Then when that season completely ends, that's when they'll do a new anime project. Which one will be? I don't know. It can be anything. Then they do so on and so forth. Remember, the studio was mentally made for Mushoku Tensei. So of course, while some people in that one studio works on this new anime project, the others will be working on Mushoku Tensei already, doing storyboards and the writing and stuff, seeing how they can adapt the season. The season 3, oh boy. Y'all ain't ready for season 3, man. It's gonna be crazy. I'm saying crazy. But anyways, enough about that. Let's talk about what happened in this episode. In this episode, wow, man. I told you someone's going to get mad, but let's slow down there for a second. Ruiz is running, and he is running because he remembers that he'll regret it. And we all thought he'll regret it because, Paul's death and him cheating and stuff. And you thought that he would regret that. But I guess that's just sadness. Okay, whatever. But he goes there, and everyone's okay. Norm's at school. Selfie just walked in, and Aisha was just there, just cleaning up the place. And then they have the meeting, and mainly Norn. Norn was the best reaction to everything here, believe it or not. Compared to all the other characters, Norn, in my opinion, was the star of the episode. She comes in, she's all happy, she's looking around. She said, "Where's Dad?" And then that's when we have to bring the bad news. And the bad news is Paul is dead. Dad is door now. And she looks at Rudy as thinking like, Aaron, look, you can bring your best. You can bring your A game people. You can bring someone who can do whatever they can, but not everything can go the way you want it to go. And in that world, Rudy is considered the greatest mage in that world. Not the strongest being. There's a whole ton of stronger beings than him in that world. But he is still considered the greatest mage because he does physical abilities, and he has a huge mana pool. So he does stuff that most mages don't do in that world. Well, anyways, she looked at his army, she looked at what he went through. It was not easy. This is his first labyrinth that he went to, and it was the most dangerous one of all. The most dangerous labyrinth. So this boy went in as the most dangerous one, but he had one of the best teams, but even that team wasn't at its best either, in my opinion. Zenith was in there, and she was part of the team, and Ghislaine was also a way of Eris. So the team itself was not fully 100%. You had Roxy, who's been doing this for years as well, but even with her being at her best, she still fell short of being trapped in there. So that shows how dangerous this labyrinth is. And that being said, yeah, the fact that he only got away with his arm is pretty damn good, especially for his first time. And I think this will be his last time going inside one as well. And you see how she looks at him, like she understands, like, even with seeing someone who you consider the best, things still can fall short. And she breaks down crying. In a way, the dad's dead, the mom's mind is broken. So she, in her mind, in the novel, she says, then nothing really changed in her opinion, and she starts to break down and cry. And Aisha's there to comfort her, just bawling out, man. That's sad. It's always sad to see a scene where a little girl is crying for her dad, and I think the first time I truly realized that when I was watching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. You know the scene. You know this freaking scene, man. That's one of the best animes of all time. But anyways, so they were splitting the stuff in a way. Rui is the successor. That's why this anime is called Succession. He didn't just inherit Paul's things in the family. He inherits Paul's will as well. His way of life, as you can see. And so he was passing around the arrangements of Paul's gear. He gave Paul's favorite sword to Norm and told her a very good thing. Just because you have that sword doesn't make you strong. And to learn that from anybody. He even said something that, that Paul said a while back that Lilia remembers and everything. So that was a good little callback that he did. Then Zenith, however, went in and she grabbed Paul's gauntlets. Yeah, she just went in and grabbed his gauntlets, just holding him tight. It's like, why would she do something like that? Maybe her memory isn't all the way gone. Maybe there's something that's still there. Maybe it's an instinct. But why would she do that, Because she never saw Paul when she woke back up. Think about that for a second. When Paul died, Zenith woke up. Think about that. That is sad as hell, man. Paul wanted to see Zenith more than anybody. And he died. And she woke up, though. Yo, that is effed up. That is effed up. But either way, it was a very scene that hit me hard when I read it all those years ago. And now we're in this situation. The team leaves out to find their own place to stay for the night, and then they'll head out wherever they may be. But one person stayed behind. Yeah, here comes the drama, everybody. Roxy stayed behind. And when Rudy is asked that they need to talk, and she knows Roxy stayed behind, Selfie knew. And speaking of Selfie, her name is just Selfie no more. It is Milfy. That's what I would say. In social media, it's Milfy now. And everyone is freaking out because they love her design. They love her design. These are the two. So Selfie pretty much goes through 3 designs in this show. She had her childhood design where she had the green hair and the tomboy look. And then she had the Silence Fits look. And now you're going to have Mama Selfie look. These are the 3 looks. And we still ain't got no freaking statue. What the? But no, he packed out the Rocky statues. Ugh. God. I need to let that go. Let it go. Let it go. Oh, man. Well, anyways. He pretty much told what happened. And says, please allow Roxy to be his second wife. And another thing also happened how she gave Rudy the extra push was Alina Lays was kind of teasing Rudy saying that Roxy might be pregnant with his child. But that was not true. It was in the web novel when she said this, but that didn't happen. It was just something that Alina Lays just said just to give Rudy that extra push to go and accept Roxy as the second wife and everything. But it didn't happen in this one. And I told you someone was getting mad the last episode. I said someone's going to get mad. And it wasn't Sophie. It was Norn. Really, yeah, I understand. You went through hell. You lost your arm and everything. But you didn't need to do that. And he didn't need to do that. He is scum. Remember, Rui is a scum. We know this. We all know Rui is a scum. In fact, you'd be surprised how many people hang out with scumbags if they don't know they're scum or they just don't realize it because they're so used to hanging out with them. But yes, Rui is a scumbag. He's a reliable scumbag, but still scum. And she was like, just dogging him. Remember, Norm is of Millis' belief. So, of course, she's going to feel this kind of way. She's Millis, and Millis is like Christianity. You can only have one partner only. And so, some you can only have one partner for life. But some people move on to another partner. They divorce or they die and stuff. That's just how it is sometimes. But Sophie came along because she went. Let me stop. I want to do a way that someone put in the comments. This was good. They did extra. They went extra on that scene. That first of all, you you slept around with this slut, this homewrecker, this cheater, this little girl. He called her a little girl. Like and Roxy's been called a little girl her entire life. Because because her species, and she's usually been used to it. She's irritated. She's used to it because she's been living for a long time, so she knows how that feels. But this one hurt her because she's trying to wanted to get accepted into the family, but this time it's to someone's personal, saying a drawback of why I really shouldn't be with this person. Little girl, you freak. But she's not. But and and she says, I mean, I look at one, but I'm actually a grown person and stuff. And she decides to leave. And she's even said, oh, you took advantage of that. It gets really trying to defend her, saying, yeah, she turned it down, but I insisted. Yeah, but she still accepted. She could have turned that shit down, but here she is right now. That is true. I can't get mad at Norton. Norton is speaking facts. She is laying down the truth. She is preaching, man. If you really didn't want to intervene, you could have been left. That's what Norton said, and that is true. She could have been left, but she didn't. Now, did she? Dirty woman. I need to stop. Okay. So Rachi's ending and stuff, and Rudy's at that moment in his mind, and the novel's like, if he lets her go, he's going to regret it. He has to tell him, but he can't because he'll look unloyal to Selphie. He didn't know what to do at this time, but he was about to say something until Selphie said something. And Selphie, according to the books, as she waddles towards Roxy and turns around, she sees the tears in her eyes. But it wasn't just tears. She was obviously puffy eyes in a way as well, but they didn't show the puffy eyes here, unfortunately. And she was telling about, she knew it was going to happen because she knew, like, father like son. She already knew Rudy is like his father. She already knew that. So therefore, she knew that was going to happen. She even talked about it. Because she knew, Sophie knew everything about Rudius. And so were his past life. She knew everything about Rudius, in a way, but how Rudius is. So she knew that he's just like Paul in a way. So she knew that Paul was going to be that way. And Rudy was going to be that way. So she already accepted that a while back. You remember the scene that I even mentioned it a couple of times before and stuff. And she actually accepts Roxy into the family. She was kind of jealous and worried about this Roxy person that she never met, but Rudy was always talking about her. And they finally met. And she accepted her. She's like, yeah, you're not that amazing. Not an insult, but you're just a normal person like everybody else. And that was true. And she accepted Roxy. So yay, hand claps all around, people. Wasn't that nice? That was sweet. So she won't be the second wife until they give birth. And that's exactly what happened, Gave birth, man. I also like the scene where she accepts Roxy and everything was dim and dark in the house. The sun shows up and light comes in. And everything, just the atmosphere just changes. Tone lighting can really help your story. And it did here. And she accepts Roxy as a second wife and also a member of the family. A month passes, it's snowing hard. It snows a lot there, believe it or not. They're in the north section of the world. Selphie gives birth. She names the baby Lucy, a mixture of names of Selphie and Rudius, Lucy. And it's nice, And the other thing is that she was so relieved that Lucy didn't have green hair. Just remember, Selphie originally had green hair. And that green hair is what pushed everyone away from her. They didn't really go into much detail of that, which I kind of hated. They didn't go into much detail, like why Selphie was being bullied all the time. And it's because of her green hair. Her parents didn't have green hair. They both had brown hair and stuff. She only had green hair for a very good reason. And it's a kind of a draw that her and Rudius have that they have yet talked about, which really sucks. But anyways, that's what it's like. and he's at Paul's grave talking, saying how he just ends just up like Paul. And Paul is always saying that he's a failure of a dad. But at the end of the day, Rudy also mentions, well, he's a failure of a son. You know, he could have done more. He didn't see him as a son because he allowed his past to hold him back. But not anymore. Now he sees himself as Paul's son and everything. And there's another thing that you'll slowly realize throughout the show is that Rudy is still just his age. People think that, yeah, you have your memories of your past life, but you're still that age. People always have that thing like, oh no, he has memories. Yes, he has memories of his past life. But that's just how it is, you know. There have been stories here where people say they have memories of their past life somehow. And it's weird. And with factual evidence, apparently. But that's just how life is for some people in isekai world anyways. Like, what are you supposed to do? He can't date the older women, and he can't be with women that's supposed to be his age because the internet will freak out. But they do it anyways, because you know why? That's just how it is. You know, I'm not dabbling in that too much. What I will dabble in is the future. He moves on. He'll carry this burden. He'll do his best to live life without regret. And you see some flashes of other people. You see Bondi Gandhi with Rudyard. You see Eris with long hair staring into the night sky. You see Rudy's friends just living out their lives and everything. Just life just moving on. People trying to move forward into the future. No longer being held down to the past. Which is good. And then you see the whole family looking out at the night sky. Everyone's looking out at the night sky today. Because it's a beautiful night. And there it ends. The end. With the guarantee of Season 3 on the way. So yeah, that was Season 2. All in thoughts and all. It started out a bit rough at first because Volume 7 was terribly adapted, you know. And you don't know me, I didn't really care for Volume 7, but it had its moments that I cared for. But people who were fans of Volume 7 were very displeased with the adaptation of it. Which, I feel you. It sucks that when that happens, you know. You don't have the scenes you love from the books don't be adapted. That really does suck. I feel y'all. And then in the beginning, people were complaining like, oh, it's just school life and it's boring. There's no adventuring. I'm glad it weeded out those people. I really am. Weeded out the people who are only here for fight scenes and stuff. You're here for the life of Rudius. And life of Rudius isn't always about battle. It's just about him living his life and the situations he has to deal with from time to time. And then we get into part 2, you know, and part 2 is where everyone truly liked it. You know, everyone loves part 2 of Season 2. It's good. It had its great moments, you know. That's when things truly started to pick up, when Rudius himself, he stopped playing the game, where like, who could she be and stuff, you know. A lot of people felt that was a waste of time. And I agree. It did feel like a waste of time. But so they finally felt like the story was moving on in part 2, and boy, it did. Especially when the two sisters showed up, and they were going through the crisis, and then we're going great until he got the letter, and then he went on their way and stuff. It was good episodes, good acting, good voice acting. I mean, great animation, story writing. Some of the pacing was okay, but there's only one thing I'm mad about, truly mad about. Where is Jiro the armadillo? Where is Jiro the armadillo? You saw the armadillo when they're on their way back to Rudy's hometown. And he's supposed to stay there, you know. But he didn't. Where's my freaking armadillo? That was supposed to be the first pet of the Great House. It'll probably show up in Season 3, but they could have had him there like, yeah, we took in the armadillo. Something, anything. You know, and Roxy's will be riding the armadillo from time to time because, you know, she's been training it and stuff. So whatever, man. No armadillo for you people. I really want to see that armadillo, man. But oh well, probably next season. So anyways, that's all I got for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, like, comment, share, and of course, hit that bell icon. This has been Madcrownxox on Anime. Signing out.